Hello, everybody. Welcome to the daily political tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm here 365 days of the year to take your 12 political questions out of the chat. Just put them in the chat between like 11 and 12 Chicago time, Central time in the US. And I just make a list of them down in the description box. If you're watching this on replay, hello, you can go down in the description box. All the questions are listed out and I timestamp them as I go. So you can always go into any of the live streams and just pick and choose what you're interested in. Or if there's a break or something you don't want to hear, you can skip to the next thing. You can always watch the thing at if you go down to the gear here, you can watch the whole thing at like 1.25 speed. That'll usually work pretty well. Whatever makes it easier for you. But do visit us live for the chat. I try to give you guys credit for all the great stuff you say, and people are so kind to each other. We have a great community here, and I cannot thank you enough for that. We have epic troll slayers too. We have like a Lord of the Rings level troll slayers. So, hello. 10% of my income from everything Black and Orange goes to Feeding America at feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country. That is an ongoing thing. And yeah, I think that's about it. And also, I'm you know me, I'm not one to push. I'm always concerned people will think that I'm pushing for money. Sorry, I just need to. Sorry about that. But I just want to let people know this Saturday night is the monthly patron-only it's a small group we get together, and it's usually about a dozen of us. There's gosh, always less than 20. But anyway, you got me for 2 hours. We usually read on anything other than politics. And it's usually a really good time. We talk about spirituality and future, and we just read on all kinds of stuff, history. So I just wanted to mention that is on Patreon, and our get together is this Saturday. So, and also I'm still not sure about the t-shirts and mugs, but I did want to say I really do love this pouch where I keep my cards in, and this is available now. So, for what it's worth, if you are in need of a pouch, here you go. The meanings of these cards, just so you know, this is fruits of labor. So really getting the fruits of all your labor. Here's partnership. Here's the world, kind of the completion, just getting all that you want and then more to come. This is really the card of a lot. So that's what the cards mean. All right. Let me get out ye old classic Rider-Waite here. I know, kind of dull, but that's just my favorite. Russell reads a tea cozy, perhaps. Oh, I don't know if I can offer a tea cozy, but I like the idea. Oh, Deseret, I hope you're okay. Thank you, Helen. All right, so we've got all kinds of stuff today, and then the last thing I'm going to do today is, just so you know, I know some of you are really not into astrology, but there was a question from, was it Darren? From Darren about April 4th. Apparently, what will happen on April 4th? So many rumors flowing about a possible, basically some kind of major event taking place. And so I went and looked at the astrology. So I'm going to walk you through. We're going to look at this together. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how to look at a chart, and even if you don't know astrology, and just go, is this bad? Is this not? What is? If you don't know much about astrology, this should make sense to you. Okay, so we're going to do that last. All right, but we're going to start with Aiden Davis. I have 3 questions left left over from yesterday, so thank you. Your questions are very important to me. So we're starting with Aiden Davis's question, kind of heavy, but we're going to get through it. Can you read on the future of the death penalty in the U.S.? Will it become abolished anytime soon? So, wow, I just got on that question, and suddenly I've got like a feeling around my neck. It's like, oh, good. Yay, I'm in the right energy. Oh, look. Yay, I'm in the right energy. Yick. Oh, I'm glad you guys like it. So, yeah, I saw this and I just couldn't resist. Oh, at 6 minutes in. Oh, never. The news said the committee would likely vote on the Supreme Court nominee on April 4th. Ooh, is that what the big event is? Because Darren was saying possibly some kind of attack or something. I don't know. All right. So, the future of the death penalty. U.S. Oh boy, and I'm getting flashes of all the way back through the country's history. Thank you, everybody. Kevin's saying I heard a Monday vote. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you guys like the border. Linda Sue, you've got a point. It's probably going to be like the tornadoes, a lot going on April 4th. That would make sense. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, everybody. Make this. All right, so I'm definitely getting flashes of history all the way back to the founding of the country. And Dave, we're going to go over that last question. That's exactly what we're going to go over. All right. Thank you for being here. Well, how far in the future we're going to go? Because I was getting flashes of history all the way back for 250 years. Two of Wands. It doesn't make us look good. Let's put it that way. Let's face it, with all the guns everywhere and everything, to a lot of people overseas, not all, of course, there are much worse places in the world, but we kind of look barbaric in some respects. So, Chariot, Magician, Queen of Cups, King of Pentacles, Two of Cups. Eventually, we will get rid of it. We'll get rid of it because we won't need it. But it is lipstick on my hand. It's not anything worse. Right now, it's something to threaten someone with. It's something to keep people in line. We have this conservative strain in our history. I mean, we're dealing with it right now with all the Trump stuff and the racist blankety blanks in Congress. But ultimately, there are more humane ways to deal with things. And I hate to say this, but as medicine gets better, as medical knowledge improves, I think you will reach a point where people will have options. Like, look, we can have the death penalty, or you can go through the, brain, what's it, zappy, futuristic thing, and you won't be as angry, and you won't, you will like restart your part of your brain that would help with things like compassion. So that's what I'm getting. Now, is that right or wrong? I am the messenger. That's it. So anyway, all right. People are still talking about April 4th. April 4th is a week from Monday. Okay. So at 11 minutes in, Aiden also was asking, in the next 20 years, will we see any additional states in the US like DC? Or will states leave the nation and become independent, like California, Texas, or Idaho, their own private Idaho, their own far-right Idaho? Thank you, Joanne. So, more states, less states. Yeah, actual reform in prisons. Wouldn't that be a novel idea? All right. And I know there are some real monsters in this world, so please don't don't think I'm saying it should be like this or it should be like that. I think it's complicated. That's it. Kevin Brazil, Texasistan. Laurel wants Idaho to break off. Thank you, guys. Actually, this morning I asked my father if he would do me a favor. I've got this really nice flag pin, really pretty, wide, and in sort of stars. It has little, little gems but it's got the red stripes and everything else. But when I bought it, the latch, not the bendy latch, but the part that would hold the pin down, broke off. And I've tried glue, I've tried all kinds of stuff, nothing's helped. So this morning I asked him for help. He's going to see what he can do, and I might finally get to wear it. I've never worn it on here. But yeah, so I was looking at that, and I was thinking about, obviously there aren't 50 gems on a little pin in just that little part where the stars go. But I was thinking about this morning, it's like, how many stars, how many, what's going forward. When I've read on this kind of thing before, I kept getting the number 54, but let's see what we get this time. That feels like a temper tantrum. That feels like a temper tantrum by people on the far right who want to secede, who have absolutely no understanding of economics. None. Seceding from the US would be a really bad idea. But you know how they get it. Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. That's new. I have been getting Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. And I'm starting out with 2 aces. Then there's insult to injury. Because of insult to injury. Knight of Wands, Judgment. The far right doesn't want it, but this is Judgment, and these are two beginnings. And this is disappointment, but this is disappointment at trying to kick down the cups. It's not working. So I'm still getting the same. As a matter of fact, right underneath that's the death card, which is nice try, Spiff. Yes, if you look in books on tarot, when it says you get a 5 of cups and the death card, it means nice try, Spiff. I don't know why you put up with me. I'm just glad you do. All right, so next, I don't know about the next 20 years. Tarot is not good with timing, but boy, this feels very positive. I have not picked up on any states successfully seceding because they would, that would be stupid. Lola Bell, I have my questions for today, I'm afraid, but that sounds really interesting. Please read on whether Mo Brooks' revelations and perhaps testimony will do any serious harm to Trump's transiting Pluto. U.S. Pluto return just squared his Mercury in Aries. Ooh, that sounds really interesting, but I'm not going to be able to get to today. But I love it. Is there a way you could throw that in tomorrow morning? Maybe? Please? Before I go on? The link to tomorrow's is in the description, just so you know. Kevin Brazil says, I hope they don't. I like my Social Security check. Well, there's that too. Yeah, if these states want to secede from the Union, they have no understanding of economics. They don't understand how many of the liberal states are paying for the more conservative states. Anyway, yeah. All right, so it's 17. Fran had a question. Oh, make it 17:30 because I was going to have a quick look at state seceding. Insult to injury. Oh, they'd love to. They would love to stick it in the eye. 3 of Cups, World, Queen of No. This is no state successfully seceding. They want to, but no. Cups, women, world. That's what we're going into. Equality, rise of women's power, more liberal thinking. Deal with it. Linda Sue says, I love it. You actually do give us a link to tomorrow. Yes, absolutely. I have a terrible time fitting everything into the description box. There's so much down there. So, all right. I like that. Donna Belvin, Queen of No. All right, so at 1830. 1830. Will Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz be held accountable for their actions on January 6th? Oh, happy to do it, Fran. Thank you for your question. Oh, Donna Howard says President Biden speaking now after the emergency NATO meeting. Gretchen, I agree. They just need to look at Brexit to see how well that worked. Yeah. But let's look at Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz. Do we have to? Kind of, yeah. Kind of what we're here to do. Josh Hawley. When I have to read on Josh Hawley, it's not a good day. I mean, Ted Cruz is bad enough, but Hawley is his own brand of ick. Also, I just wanted to say, what was that woman's name? Blackburn? The blonde anti-women's healthcare woman who was ridiculous in the Senate confirmation hearings. Marsha Blackburn, yes. I just wanted to say that I don't have a question on her today, but I was just watching her speak, and it was like, okay, I have an option because there are some really nice people in this world named Karen, and I don't want to use that term. And I was looking at her, and I just was like, ew, entitled white woman. She's an ew. So, ooh, Stephanie Martin saying U.S. will welcome 100,000 Ukrainian refugees, says the president. Oh, good. Lisa Graham says Blackburn needs your hair tips. You assume I would give them. No, there's nothing negative about you. That's the. No. I don't use the word. I don't use Karen. There are some very nice women in this world named Karen. I just don't use that name. But ew. Entitled white woman. Whew, she's an ew. And then there are many who are like that too. And they're an entitled white man. Yeah. All right, so I wanted to mention that about Blackburn. I will get to the reading here. 2130. Gosh, Hawley. Yes, Blackburn was saying the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was part of the Constitution. Nil point. All right, Hawley. Oh gosh, you're so awful. Cruz, Ted Cruz, January 6th. Oh, the spineless wonder. Sniveling, spineless wonder. Whew. King of Swords. Well, in theory, those would be lawmakers, as in swords are laws, but this is actually prosecutors. Is the card of prosecutors. These guys would come up as King of Pentacles or Wands, being far right. So, Hawley, what's going to happen to you? You can be held accountable for January 6th. Queen of Wands. Well, he was in with that group with your little fist waving. King of Wands in the support of your Shira, part of the cult. King of Pentacles with the other Republicans. And this is evidence being collected. That's what this is. This is deep in the thick of it. And that's evidence being collected. And that's on Hawley. I'll just put this down here. Let me look at Cruz, see what his cards are like. And then I'll pull more if I need to. Oh, see Sims. Thank you. Two of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. This is Ted Cruz, by the way. World, Knight of Pentacles, Sniveling. See, these are a duck and dodge. Oh, I'm just a Republican. Oh, I didn't have anything to do with it. But there's a great big world card, and then there's him having to fight. Now that's different. Hawley in the thick of it. And when it comes to Hawley, I'm sick of it too. I know. You can unsubscribe, I understand. Anything more on Hawley and Cruz? Oh gosh. Blah, blah. Okay, Cruz. January 6th, because what's her name? Child catcher looking. Liz Cheney. She said that there's going to be new stuff revealed about January 6th when they have the hearings. And there's still talk of the hearings being, well, some people are saying April. Someone else was saying it might go into May. But if it's in April, we're talking a week and a bit till April. And then, so this is sooner rather than later. Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, it's getting a little bright for the cards. Follow the money. Hawley. Fool. Hierophant. Emperor. He actually thought they could overthrow democracy. Look at that. Full idiot. Government. Emperor. Führer. That the government could be an autocracy. And he's an idiot enough to believe that. And an American. Hawley, you're a disgrace. That's my opinion. Cruz. I don't even know if you're worth calling a disgrace. Page of Wands, Messenger, Sun. This guy is like cockroaches. he's like cockroaches. He doesn't do that much. He does what he does, but it's more like just gross and there and harder to nail down. Ew. Snow Wolf says April 4th, opening of the committee results. The committee hearings, maybe. Pegasus says, I want evidence shown to us, finally. Yeah. Yeah, Cruz is sniveling. But Hawley, yuck. I think Hawley's in more trouble than Cruz is. Or rather, they'll be able to, if they're going to be able to nail someone, I think they'd be able to nail Hawley sooner. Jen Glenn, he's everywhere, but not having much effect. Joanne D says worm-like. Yeah. It's just, ew. Get. Corruption, being an American, trying to destroy democracy. Ding, ding, ding. It's been quiet for a long time, but hearings are going to start and put these far-right people, make them very upset, make us very upset when we hear more about it, and they'll start pointing at each other and fighting amongst themselves. And I wasn't there, he was there. I didn't do blah, 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 blah. Mel Broussard says the January 6th committee meeting should be held in prime time every night. All networks, except Fox, of course, should preempt regular programming to broadcast. Yeah. Marsha Hostetler saying he's our senator. I do not like him at all. And Jen Glenn is asking, can we look at Hawley and his ties to Matt Gaetz? I didn't know he had any. Well, we're looking at, these are not two great tastes that taste great together. This is like two forms of compost that need to be kept on the far side of the acreage. Far right burden. Or just a burden. Two of Swords, Queen of Cups, Five of Swords. This is a decision. This was a decision to do something, possibly do something illegal. I don't know. Insult to injury. Well, that's just them. Women are going to be their downfall. That's all I'm getting on that. I'm not getting partnership. I'm not getting... Oh, thank heavens I didn't get lovers. That would have been it. That would have just been... Okay. Pegasus has a lunch date. I hope you have a great time. Friend Urbina says the rioters were calling out Ted Cruz's name on January 6th. Didn't they steal stuff off of his, was it his desk in this? Wasn't it Ted Cruz's desk they stole, and they were saying he was against us? Oh, wait, no, that's right. Was that him? Yeah. All right. 30, he's pathetic. Cruz, he's so pathetic. 3130. No, tarot is not good at timing, but I'll see what I can pick up. Steve was asking, at what point do you see the Supreme Court becoming a liberal or at least non-conservative majority? I'll just see what I get. Maybe there's some action or something. Yes, it was Ted's, Helen says. Yeah. Kevin Brazil says correct. Good. Donna Belvin is also saying it was Ted's desk. Fran Urbina. Good. When will the Supreme Court become at least not a conservative majority, or become liberal? Okay, this far-right garbage that's going on, it has to be pulled out by the root. I'm getting an image of a big, thick root going, that's way down in the soil, and it has to be yanked out. This is Pluto and Capricorn stuff bringing out this far-right garbage so that we can see it, get rid of it. Teresa Ford says Ted is like a slug. Ted Cruz is like a slug whose trail of slime spreads discontent to all who see it. I would agree with that. Supreme Court. Oh, that. Trump. Oh, yuck. All right. Wheel of Fortune. Excuse me. This is the far-right communications. This is a card of communications. Judgment. Two of Cups. High Priestess. More women on the court. They had their time under Trump, when they were able to put in these far-right conservatives who are going to hand, it's what they're going to hand down that's going to be so egregious. It's going to get people voting for Democrats. So give it a cycle or two of major voting, and like the midterms and the presidential election, with all this far-right stuff coming out of the Supreme Court. And trust me, people are going to go out and vote. Higher wisdom, women, we're done with you. I hate to say it, but they're going to dig their own metaphorical judicial graves. Not literally. We don't want anybody getting hurt. But apparently I want people getting hurt less than they do. Yeah. Oh, I like that, Mel Broussard. My sister-in-law calls him Tepid Ted. My gosh, that's yes. Tepid Ted. That is perfect. Ugh. Kevin is saying Ted's behavior certainly matches the aspects in his chart. Oh yeah. That Chiron, that wound that will not heal, where his sense of self, sun, is the Tepid Ted. I like that. All right, at 36, Jen Glenn had a question. Will Putin lose all his money? Will Putin lose all of his money? Hey, serial killer, how you doing? Picking your teeth with anyone's bones this morning? Ace of Wands. Yeah, that was his bludgeon on Ukraine. Oh, he is the emperor. Make way for the autocrat. That is not. Queen of Swords. Nine of Wands. His country's I'm getting his country is going to lose vast quantities. These are the sanctions. This is his people. His first of all, his military action is not going well at all. I mean, at all. Thank you, Tian. And his people are suffering, and that will continue. This is the West, or the U.S., but that's him. These are the sanctions. This is the... So his people are going to lose it. Everything. Hold, please. Daha. I feel like I should do the Rita Hayworth. Me? Except I do not look remotely like Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth was gorgeous. She was also horribly abused. That poor thing. Joanne Maurer is saying their defense minister is missing. Oh, yeah. There's big trouble in Moscow City. Whew. Putin gonna lose. What about your money? He'll just take more from the people. Okay, the mental image I'm getting of this is like, I don't know if you guys know this, but Barbara Streisand, in the basement of her mansion, she has it decked out like streets where you can go like shopping. Like, here's a doll store, and and she's got all this stuff down there. It's cool. I mean, I like eccentricity, but it's also a little, okay. This feels like that. This feels like Putin living in some kind of him actually being in an actual, like, he's not creating his own bubble. Barbara Streisand isn't, I'm not saying she's doing that. That's just a hobby. This is almost like in North Korea, where they only show when things are nice. Almost like a little village or a little town set up. Joanne Marr saying she has a town in her basement. Yes. he's in such a bubble. Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, 4 Swords, 9 of Wands. His overseas accounts are frozen and what have you, but no, he'll just stay in his bubble. Will Putin lose all of his money? I would have to say he will lose his ability to breathe oxygen before he loses all of his money. And I hate to bring that up, but Bob Mueller. Hey, Bob. Kind of looks like House on the Rock. Yes! Have you been to House on the Rock? I've been there twice. It was the freakiest thing. I got this as I'm shuffling and I just need to get out of this energy for a second. So I've got to say, going to the House on the Rock in Wisconsin, it was this guy who built this weird, this huge like cliff face, and he built this weird kind of house type thing in the rock. But this was back years and years ago, and so there are, in most of these things, there's like carpeting on the walls, and I mean just weird stuff. But it's also clear nobody could live there. There's like barely a kitchen, or the kitchen doesn't work, or there's, it's weird. But then you go down and basically this guy also, he collected collections. So when people passed away or they didn't want their collections of whatever anymore, he would collect them and he would bring them. It's in Wisconsin, and it is so much stuff, and so much different kinds of stuff, and from full-size automatons playing music, like multiple sets of those, and then big machinery that doesn't actually do anything, and a lot of red lighting in these red plastic lights, and there's this huge multi-story like tower of dolls. It's like a carousel that's revolving. And then there's the actual carousel, which you can't go on, but you go into the room where the actual carousel is on. There's one actually going, but there are these mannequins on the I'm not kidding, hanging from the ceiling they put angel wings on them, and they're half naked, like anatomically correct, half naked. And it's just everywhere you go through this thing, it's just like, and by the time about halfway through, there's this little cafe, and you walk in, and it's just a place where you would buy little snacks or something, a little drink, little snack. There's some big walls are, on two sides are, windows, and you can see out, and just some greenery, and it's peaceful. And at that point, you need that. You need to sit there quietly and just eat your potato chips or drink your little, soda or whatever, and just let your brain just, because then, yes, full-size carousel. And then you go back in through, okay, yeah. It's kind of crazy. Bob Mueller, very eccentric. That's a very nice way to put it. So anyway, if you can ever go to, it's an experience. If you can ever go to House on the Rock, it is one heck of an experience, but it's a lot. Bob Mueller says a museum. Yeah. Jolie says Alex Jordan is the name of the guy who built the house. I don't know if he was a tourist. Sandy Miller. But yeah, it was a thing. All right. So, Mama Bear says, I just Google it. It's 1 day and 6 hours away from me. All right. So oh, Deborah, if you wouldn't mind throwing that in the questions for tomorrow, in the chat for tomorrow. And by the way, there is a link in the description box to tomorrow's live stream. There always is. So it's really nice. There's someone, I don't know who, it won't tell me, but there is somebody who's actually gone forward, like click to tomorrow, hit like, gone to the next day, hit like, next day, hit like. So when I'm looking at the videos in the in YouTube Studio behind the scenes, I've got this whole like 24 videos that are all liked. They're not even public yet, but you can get to them through the, and so whoever is doing that, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Wheezy Squeezebach, it's a thing. Thank you, Len. So, KB says, just Google the images, looks fascinating. So anyway, all right, back into the muck. Oh. Okay, 4630. Jen Glenn had a question. What will happen to the Federalist Society? What will happen to the Federalist Society? Will they ever be held accountable for their corruption? What's going to happen to the Federalist Society? Wow. Kevin. Number one? I don't understand, Kevin. Okay. Thank you, guys. Federalist Society. Yuck. What's going to happen to the Federalist Society? This is pretty obscure. I don't know if any of you have seen the Buffy the Vampire spinoff Angel. The big bad, one of the big bads in that show is this incredibly dark, corrupt law firm called Wolfram and Hart. Federalist Society is Wolfram and Hart. Oh, number one for likes. I see. 5 of Wands. Well, okay. Far right. Fighting amongst themselves. Teresa Ford saying yes. I assume that's about Wolfram and Hart. 10 of Cups. 4 of Wands. No, 4 of Swords. World card. Hello, 8 of Cups. Star. They may have some troubles. This is Democrats having power. This is their power going very quiet, and there's a big world card in the middle. This is the rise of Democratic power and power of women. This is having to walk away because there are too many cups. And hope for women. I like this. I'll take it. Let's do this. Where they lose their power and women and Democrats gain more power. Let's do that. So, Tuxedo Cat says loved that show. Oh yeah, I'm actually rewatching it right now. I just need something. There's things I completely forgot about. Many things I completely forgot about. And I think more people are going back and rewatching Angel after Nicholas Brendan, who played Xander. Whew, the really nasty thing he said about David Boreanaz and that show. But you go by watch the show. I'm enjoying it. So, all right. Catherine Rodriguez is saying, now that the Federalist Society has been exposed by Senator Whitehouse, they will be eviscerated. Gosh, I hope so. All righty. Thank you, guys. I so love spending time with you. Thank you. All right, at 51, Jen Glenn was also asking about Anonymous. Oh, one of those groups where it's like, oh, if they're on our side at the moment, that's good, but they're not always. So Anonymous hacked into unsecured printers across Russia. Oh, I heard about this. They printed information on Putin's invasion all across Russia. Printer just starting. They printed information on Putin's invasion. Will this have any effect? It'd be scary. Hello, Justin's mom. I mean, imagine you're just standing there and your printer just starts going. Or even if it worked, whatever, but your printer just starts going and you walk over there and you pull it out and it's your government stuff coming out of your printer. That would be pretty freaky. Thank God, Laurel Sorensen saying, ghosts. High Priestess. There's definitely some secrets and higher wisdom. This is the card for Anonymous. Higher wisdom, yeah. Secrets, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Vixen Doe, you won the internet today. The ghost in the machine. I like that. That was good. Lola Bell 59 says Anonymous on Twitter gives their birthday as November 5th. Scorpio. November 6th right here. Yes, Kevin, it reminds me of the old fax days. Yes. All right. That's Thief card. That's a 7 of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. Here. Have a thing. Whew, 5 of Swords, insult to injury. Devil. Could this be any better? I mean, could these cards be any more on point? That's Anonymous. Thief. Stealing information. You have a printer? Let me give you something through your printer. Insult to injury. Corruption. Let us tell you about, well, it's kind of an insult to injury if your own printer starts being possessed, but it's about Putin's corruption. Will it have an effect? It'll get some people's attention. Isn't there someone in Congress they're going after? I can't remember. I read on so much and so many people. Sometimes I forget stuff I should remember. Is it Marjorie Trader Green they're going after? Ah, yes, Teresa Ford, MTG. Thank you. Lola Bell 59 is got the quote for Anonymous. They're kind of what they say. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. You do have some power there, but please with the ooh. Do you wear capes too? Please. Kitties. Under the blanket. And we are going into, oh wait, Leah Bachman says Biden just called for Russia to be removed from the G20. Good. Thank you guys for your help. Thank you, Jane. All right. So at 55:30, we're moving on to Ukrainian forces. Ukrainian forces captured a mystery container from Russians based near Kyiv, thought to be part of their Krashuka 4, a mobile electronic warfare system. This is what's used in monitoring things from recognizable satellites. Is that what was found? Could this give Ukraine a much-needed advantage? Where is my phone? Do I have my phone in here? Yes, I do. Because I know I had a picture of that I obviously did not take myself. Oh. I have the highlight of that question, and I've got just this little tiny picture at the bottom. Let me actually just go in here and get the link so I can quickly. Also, is it in here? Okay, so it's not in here, but also Russia, Ukraine is claiming that Russia is halting tank production due to supply problems. They can't get the pieces they need back in Russia to build tanks. Russia has lost the 15th top commander in the West, Ukraine claims, and mystery container, that's it. So there's a Twitter account called Ukraine Weapons Tracker. It's at UA Weapons, capital W, Weapons. And they say they found this. It doesn't look like much, but apparently it is. The Krasuka 4 is a mobile ground-based EW system designed to detect and jam radars, covering troops from radar detection and preventing Ukrainian forces from gathering intelligence. The system consists of 2 parts mounted on 2 KAMAZ 6350 vehicles. I have no idea. One carrying the EW system and one carrying the command post module. It is said to be able to suppress airborne warnings and control system radars, unmanned aerial vehicles, and missile systems, preventing them from functioning properly. And Ukraine just captured it. Doesn't look like much, but apparently it is. And I guess that's the truck. Nice. So, electronic warfare. Thank you, Mel Broussard. Thank you. So, could this give Ukraine a much-needed advantage? Because one of the things that the West may be doing is saying, hey, look, we're going to send you all this stuff, and how about we share intelligence with you, how about you share intelligence with us? Is this a big deal? Sherry H. says, breaking news, Congress just reintroduced a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. Good luck. My gosh, I hope that happens. Mel Broussard says, Ukraine will send that to the U.S. soon so the CIA can have a look. I would imagine. There's been so much worry. Oh, and this is causing worry. This is causing worry in Russia. Wahaha. 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 Communications. Far-right communications. Tower. Fool. Yeah, who's going to tell Putin? 3 of Pentacles. Death. Oh, this is big. Oh, this is big. They got their communications. They'll know how to stop it. They'll know how to. Maybe it might help with their own technology, but they might find ways to counter better countermeasures. The idiot who somehow lost this. I hope this person has deserted and gone to a desert island in the middle of the Pacific. And yeah, this is the planning, the intelligence, the all this death. They capture. This is a lot. Mel Broussard says that EW box has the ability to suppress radar and guidance systems from Ukrainian weapons. Karen Hillblom is suggesting maybe the Russians are leaving stuff behind on purpose. Could be. What's this left behind on purpose? It doesn't feel like it. A hermit. Oh, look what I found. Judgment. 4 of Swords. Page of Pentacles. It feels like there was some fighting, but there was also just some Russian soldiers turning themselves in. We're tired of the fighting. We're tired. We're tired of the fighting. But there were some shots fired somewhere in here, but that's what I get. Hello, Petrus. Oh, it's not the last few minutes. Only 1:17. Plenty to go. And there's an astrology thing at the end, which I think might help some people. So, apparently this is a big deal. C. Sim says, I don't think that was left behind since there are only 4. Left on purpose. Accidentally on purpose. Exactly. Who just said accidentally on purpose? Gary Atkins. Or Mel Broussard, yes, maybe they turned it over for money. Fruits of labor. Is this a big deal? Queen of Wands, Hierophant, Empress. Oh, this information's going straight to the CIA. CIA are all over this. Okay. So at 1:04:30. Sorry, I haven't been moving my legs around enough. We're going back to, wow, these are bouncing around. We have 2 serious questions, then a question for fun, and then an astrology thing. Okay, so at, let's say 1:05. Very simple question. Tiffany Lilly asked, will Trump be charged? Ever? with anything? And that's a fair question. Did you guys hear the Manhattan DA Coward Bragg? That's what I call him. Coward Bragg, who was saying, oh, well, I'm not going to prosecute Trump. And the two prosecutors resigned in that day, just said, I'm done. One of their resignation letters that has lots of details leaked to the New York Times. Thank you, Kathy W. Thank you. Thank you. Leaked, huh? And it basically explains how, yes, there is plenty here to charge Donald Trump. And apparently Cy Vance thought there was too, which surprises me a little bit. Coward Bragg. Suburban Housewife has seen it, so this is the resignation letter is excellent. It is. So, will Trump be charged with something that matters? Something serious, ever? Donald Trump. Whew, sniffy. Merchant fraud. That's that. King of Cups. Magician. Two of Pentacles. 10 of Wands. Temperance. He drags everything out. There's actually, they are moving forward with a lot of stuff, and he's going through money like you would not believe on lawyers' fees. Like you would not believe on lawyers' fees. This is a massive burden. They have all of this material against him. He's just so far been able to drag it out. So, okay, is he going to just drag it out and so nothing actually happens to him? It kind of felt like a message of, be patient, hang on. Hey, Kathy Anderson, I hope your day's going well. Oh, man, it's such a creaky tub of lard. And when I say tub of lard, I mean his arteries. His tubes of lard. 5 of Cups. Well, he's doing, it's like he's doing a dance. Like a Irish dancing, like a river dance. Trying to knock down all of the cases against him, the actions against him, subpoenas, the calls for, it's rather exhausting, and it's actually kind of funny. It's kind of a funny mental image. Trump trying to river dance to knock down all this stuff, huffing and puffing and making the ground shake, and him on his lifts. King of Swords. 10 of Pentacles. Page of Cups. 7 of Swords. Ace of Wands. Prosecution of the whole family, especially the kids, for theft. They're trying to fight back. But that would be charging for theft. Takes time. So what I'm getting is it taking time. But yes. See, Sims says a normal citizen would already be in prison. Yes. Be in prison for the first year of fraud, the IRS taxes, and more charges would be added. Yes. 11030, quick look. 11030, IRS and Trump. Will the IRS go after Trump? Donald Sniffy Grifty Trump. Sniffy Grifty Trump. All right, IRS. Why aren't you actually auditing him? Why is IRS going after Trump? Okay. Feels cold on my back. Something in the winter? Justice. That's what we want. That's all we want. That's all we want. We want justice. We don't want any of these people hurt. We certainly don't want them to pass on. We just want justice. Actual courtroom evidence. If there's evidence, conviction, justice. That's what we want. It's not a lot to ask. 10 of Cups. Page of Cups. Ace of Wands. Knight of Pentacles. Chariot. So that is big movement. Again, going after the younger people. They're trying to fight back. And they think they can, and it's just spending more money. But then, boom. It's like the whole legal world just falls on Trump's head. Good. I don't know when. That's the problem. But it's right there. That feels like the walls come down. Cindy Miller says a cold chill went through my living room too. What do you think it means? Do you think it means it's winter? Or C. Sims asked, how do you have classified documents in your house and walk free? I was security manager for the Army. If one document came up missing, I would have been in military detention. Who allowed this to happen? Petrus is saying, I do understand, but as I said, the concept of presidential immunity is the biggest obstacle. Yes. Yes. Jen Glenn says, maybe Trump will feel like he's out in the cold. Cindy Miller says, it feels like their cold energy. Dragon Lady says, or that he's fully exposed. It feels, it's, I'm getting cold down my back, cold air. It's like kind of the smell of snow coming in a city. It's like New York City. It's very cold, but there's no snow on the ground. But it's you don't want to be outside in one of those ridiculous, princess grifter outfits. This was a big city. This is like New York. It's on a street. Okay, whatever that means. All right. 11430. Very good question from Helen. Helen Hobbensock Bitterly, I think. I'm so sorry if I've messed up your name. Experts are saying that ex-KGB persons like Sikiviki, Sikiviki. Are you putting me on? No, I'm sure that's probably is the person's name. Ex-KGB persons have more influence on Putin these days than the oligarchy. So how do those ex-KGB agents feel about what Putin is doing in Ukraine? Oh, what a lovely group of people. Wouldn't you love to go to a dinner with all of these ex-KGB guys? What a joyous, relaxing occasion. Dragon Lady says, the good old spy club. Yes, where everybody's got a knife in their boot. Worry. They don't like it. They're KGB. They don't, they're spies. They're not military commanders. They probably think there were smarter ways to do this. Three of Swords, Queen of Cups, Devil, Six of Cups, Page of Pentacles. They don't like democracy. They don't like Ukraine's government, but they can see the writing on the wall. They can see how excuse me. Sorry. They can see how much damage it's doing to Russia. And they just, it would be smarter to get out and save the Russian economy and just let Ukraine do Ukraine. So they're not, it's not like they're fans of Zelensky, but they're not fans of this way of doing things. And they're not fans of how this has gone down. And if you think, if you think, sorry, I was distracted by the chat. If you think about what these KGB guys would have done when they were doing ops, if something went horribly, if the plan went horribly, horribly wrong, you'd pivot to like a plan B. I mean, that's kind of how it was set up. That's kind of how they would do things. And not so easy when it's military. I mean, you've rolled a huge chunk of the military in, so they're not happy. Are they going to be able to have any effect on Putin? Putin is not really listening to anybody. All right, I take that back. Sophia Chavez may have just won the internet for the day. The chalice from the palace has the pellet with the poison. Yes, you guys are so great. You guys are so great. Thank you. Ace of Wands. That's just bludgeon. Lovers. Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. Oh, they're still part of the Putin cult fan club. They're not listening to him. Putin's got his war on. All right. So at 1:19:30. All right, this comes back from yesterday. This is referring to yesterday. And my description is too long. I'm shocked. It always is. So yesterday we were talking about how the Russian Wikipedia has been shut down. And so what some people have done in Russia is they've actually downloaded all of Wikipedia. And they're sharing it. Not everyone can do it. It's a lot of information. But also, apparently, you can get it as a torrent file. And I'm just like, wow, that's. I was joking. Yes, that's quite the zip file you have there, which is not the same. But anyway, yes. Anyway, doesn't matter. But you could get into a lot of trouble for having this because the Russian government has shut it down. All right, so, okay, Wikipedia. And apparently the Russian Wikipedia is smaller than the English one. Okay. So we read on it, yes, it's illegal to have it. It's good that people are getting information, sharing information. Good. Okay, fine. But that reminded me. So I was talking to Sarah, and my friend Sarah, and it reminded me that I was like, didn't they send the Wikipedia to the moon? And so she looked it up, and she's like, oh, yeah. Actually, she knew part of it off the top of her head. She's like, oh, yeah. In 2019, a lunar lander containing 100 gigabytes of information, which isn't that much, but anyway, including 30 million pages of text and pictures and the entirety of Wikipedia at the time, crash landed on the surface of the moon. The data was written on microscopic discs that were designed to be indestructible. So basically, you need a microscope, but you could read the whole thing. So all of Wikipedia, all this other stuff, hit the moon, crash landed 300 miles an hour, and apparently just went all over the moon. So Wikipedia is scattered in the moon dust. The question was, will they be found by future civilizations? I would imagine they'll be found by us, but yoy. Polywanda said, let's write a dirge about the surging urge for a Putin purge. I love that. Polywanda, I love your brain. Aspie Third Eye says, so now we're littering the moon too. Oh yeah. It's very quiet on the moon. Very quiet. Not somewhere you can hang out. It's very quiet. Nothing happening. The energy's kind of freaky, like standing on the moon. There's nothing. There's no atmosphere. There's no sound. It's not volcanically active. There's Suburban Housewife, perfect time capsule for 2019. Advanced tech plus slapstick. Yes. Communication. Yeah, Tower, that didn't go so well. But it's all there. Somebody's going to go find it. But for the most part, it's just sitting there. Some people don't quite understand that they talk about the dark side of the moon. The moon is tidal locked so that it's always what we're looking at is always the same, but that doesn't mean that the moon is always dark on the other side. Otherwise, we'd have a permanent full moon. The moon where you get crescents waxing and waning and all of that, it's because the sun is getting all the way around the moon. So it isn't like, oh, it's going to be in the dark forever. No, it's going to be in the sun. It's going to be in the sunlight. Just throwing that out there. Dragon Lady says, we still have something to read. Nana Walling is saying, need a space vacuum cleaner. There you go. So, all right, so that is that. So we are going, let me explain something to you. This is the astrological part. I know some of you aren't into astrology. I understand. I may lose some of you. I'm going to make this really understandable. Right? And I will explain to you what astrologers see. Because Darren was asking what will happen on April 4th. So many rumors flying about a possible missile attack or some major event taking place. Okay, so at 1:26, and I'm going to show you something. I pulled up the chart, and even if you don't know astrology, I think I'll have something here you can just understand, because I want you to always have this one thing in your pocket, if you don't know astrology, that you can look at any chart, any modern chart, and just go, I know something about that chart. It's easy to remember. I've mentioned this a long time ago, but let me make sure I've got the right page open. Okay. Share screen. Chrome tab. Okay. Dragon Lady says, and this is the part of the stream where my brain fails. Oh, no. Okay, this is the chart for April 4th, 2022 in Washington, D.C. at 12 noon. This is just a way for me to, it's the best way I can think to show you guys this. This, let me grab this. That's red, obviously. And if I duplicate that, I can make one that is actually, instead of purple, I'll make one that is actually blue. And when you look at any chart, any modern chart, you can say how much blue is here, how many blue lines, and how many red lines. Red lines are tension. Can be the grit that creates that sort of gets the oyster making a pearl. So it's not like the red stuff is always bad, but it's challenging. The blue stuff tends to be less challenging, and it's more pleasant. There's the long blue line, and then there are the shorter blue lines, which are the longer blue lines are it's called a trine. It's 120 degrees, and it's like being on an inflatable and you're just floating down the river gently on a summer's day. It's that kind of gentle energy. And the shorter version of the blue line, 60 degrees, it's called a sextile, is it's more energetic. It's more getting up and working kind of thing. So when you look at any chart, how much red is there and how much blue is there? Now this one has a little bit of both. It's got some red here, got some blue here. So chances are there's some good and some bad, or some easy and some challenging aspects. And I just want you guys to always have the option of looking at a modern chart and looking at the modern chart and just Just look at that, blue or red. Okay, so if you know nothing else, if you see something where there is, well, let's see, it looks like there are 3 red lines. It looks like there are 4 blue lines. So maybe it's not too bad. Maybe it's not awful. So that's a good place just to start when you first look. Some charts you'll look at, it's like nothing but blue, and it's like, yay. And there's some charts you look at, it's just nothing but red, and you're like, ooh. So, Donald Trump has filed a sprawling RICO case against Hillary Clinton and others, alleging a conspiracy to make him look compromised by Russia. Yeah, he needs the money. He's desperate for the money. But on April 4th, all right, so let's look at some basic stuff here. It's very basic. When an astrologer looks at a chart, the first thing you're just trying to get an overall sense of it. Now, this chart is for noon because we don't know what time on that day. Some people might use midnight when the day starts. Most astrologers will use noon. It's just a nice way to, it's a nice middle of the day, middle of the road. You got to do something, so sure, let's do this. The moon here, the moon moves 13 degrees a day. Each one of these wedges is 30 degrees. So it moves 13 degrees a day. So from where it is there, it would move on another, say, 7 degrees. So or it could be even closer to this little horseshoe shaped thing right here. That's a north node. So you look at the sun. The sun will be in Aries. Okay. Taking action, an energy of taking action. Good. First sign of the zodiac. And there's a blue line coming off of it that's going over here to this conjunction of Mars and Saturn. And anybody who, don't forget this thing, which I will often show people, because this explains, this is the basic chart. And this is everything else. If you learn this, you'll be set because everything's pretty much a variation on this. So for each of these wedges, each of these houses, this is the house of Virgo. This is the house of Leo, which is ruled by the sun, and it's a fire sign. Well, in this case, the sun is in Aries, first sign, Aries. And it's ruled by Mars, which is a fire sign. Aries is a fire sign. So fire sign, right there. Mercury is usually close to the sun. These are within a couple degrees of each other. And they're making a actually positive aspect to Mars and Saturn over here. So, all right, then you look at the moon, and the moon's somewhere around here, and it's potentially making both positive, possibly negative aspects. Okay, so our emotional nature, good and bad, but probably very emotional. All right. And we don't know what time of day, whatever this might happen, might be. So we don't know that the midheaven would actually be there. But there are a whole bunch of big conjunctions here that have nothing to do with what time of day. So you've got Mars and Saturn here. You've got Neptune and Jupiter here. You've got, let me see. How can I make this something bright? There. And you've probably got the moon over here somewhere. Possibly conjunct the little horseshoe thing, the north node. So what do these, what do they rule? Okay, are you still with me? Is anybody still here? All right, then let's do some keywords. And the reason I'm walking you through this is so you can understand what astrologers are seeing and what information this is giving you. Because there's some people who look at astrology charts and they leap to conclusions, and it's like, so let's just grab a couple of keywords. All right. So these planets are in the same place, and this moon is conjunct this point, a mathematical point in the chart. Let me move this over here. So we've got, make this, hang on, let me just change this really quickly to something easier to read. Yeah, we'll just do this and make it much smaller. All right, so Saturn you put the, it's kind of annoying. You put the planet closest to the sun, you put them first when you're talking about a conjunction. It just is. So you've got a Mars Saturn in the same place. Mars. You just get rid of this. Then I'll have space. Mars is about taking action. It rules the first sign, like I explained. All right, so Mars is about taking action. The martial energy. The word has the same root. Saturn is about limitations, contractions, anything that taking is taking form. Right, so they're in the same place. So there's that Mars. You'd think in some respects Mars trying to go forward would be kind of pulled back, hemmed in by Saturn that's trying to put limits. But Saturn can also be something taking form, which would be action to make something take form, or action with something that has a physical form or has taken form even. Yeah, and it's in Aquarius, which is could be technology, humanitarianism, could be revolution. Well, I should say rebellion. It's more rebellion. All right, so you've got that. Then you've got, because there's a lot going on in this chart. All right, I'm definitely running out of space. Usually am. So you've got this other conjunction here. You've got Jupiter and Neptune. I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. Jupiter, which is large and expansive. And these are all clues. That's all this is. They're just clues. Jupiter is expansive. Can be hot air. Can be lucky. Optimistic, certainly. Can be hot air. Promising more than it can deliver. Neptune can obviously be ocean, water, but it can also be spirituality, art, anything that doesn't have form. anything that is dissolving or doesn't have form. Okay, and then, well, the Mercury's Mercury, which rules communication in the same place as the sun, which is the core, the center, the self, the main energy. They're often next to each other, so this is not a big. That's nothing unusual. It is, however, right 2 degrees away from Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer and the wound that will not heal. That can be a problem. So this would be Sun, Neptune, Chiron. Chiron is a wound that will not heal. A wounded healer. If it's negative, if it's not good, if the energy is not used in a good way, then it's just a wound that won't heal. But if it is good, if you're doing the positive side of it, then you are a healer because you understand pain and you help others. And then the moon, this is less likely, but still possible. Moon, north node. North node, well, the moon is emotions, emotional nature, emotional nature, feelings, it's sensitivity sometimes, that kind of thing. How sensitive are you? And then the north node is it's a mathematical point. It's where it has to do with where the sun or where the moon is crossing. It's like if you run if you run out the equator, and then it's where the moon's crossing that point. It's on the elliptic. Anyway, the north node is basically what you're here to do. I personally call it your work order, your life's work order, kind of what you're supposed to be doing. Also, what to do if you want the universe to you want some luck and you want the universe to be at your back. So, okay, you're really not going to work with me here, are you? All right, so there's a lot going on in this chart. Okay, so, but you've got Pluto here. I may as well just get rid of this. Pluto has to do with power. Think of plutonium. Pluto rules plutonium. Pluto is power. Think of a phoenix. It's sort of death and rebirth. It's very intense. Scorpio. Yeah. All right. But Pluto here, PL, is in actually a good aspect. It's in one of these blue aspects to the moon north node thing over here. So the energy between these two is pretty positive. It's supportive. They get along. Okay. And then they're both in positive aspects to this Jupiter-Neptune thing going on here. So this Jupiter-Neptune, this Moon North Node, and Pluto are all working well together. So there's nothing bad there. Not there. There's not, that's not tension. That's the energy to get up and go, and energy, different energies being able to understand each other, work with each other. And so this is positive. And there's another sextile, 60 degrees, another blue line going from this moon thing to the Mars Saturn and the Sun Neptune Chiron. That's positive as well. So all of these energies are getting along. All right, so that's where you start. Have I completely lost everybody? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, and I'm about to talk about the red. Okay. Okay, now I'm just so lost. First you said good, then it's bad. I don't get it. You've got both good and bad here is what you've got. So if you take these keywords, that's really what astrologers are doing. You're taking what these planets mean, think of these keywords, and then the aspects between the two. Are these energies getting along, or are they fighting? Are they tense? I'm banking on the summary. Oh, gosh. All right. Now, where there is some tension is certainly between that's kind of wide. There's a red line here, but this is at 13 degrees, and this is at 22. It's like a 9-degree. That's really wide. That's not going to have very much power. But let me remove this blue stuff. So this Herschel is the man who discovered Uranus, and so the symbol looks like an H. But at 13, 22, if it was down around 13 Aquarius, it would be, yes, absolutely, it's square. There's going to be tension. But this is kind of a far away. So I would kind of discount this red line. So, but there's this other line. Now, if the moon is squaring, so it's tense with Venus, what and how you love, and this conjunction of Mars and Saturn. So the emotions of the time, and what we're supposed to be doing, is getting disrupted and isn't happy by this Mars taking action, limitations, contractions taking form. And the moon here is in Taurus, which is a very practical sign, very physical earth sign. Aquarius is about technology, humanitarianism, rebellion. The rebel in the sign of a bull standing in a field. They're not, there's no compatibility there. There's no, yay, we're working for the same things. No. But since we don't know what time we're talking about here, we don't actually know how strong or weak this would be, but it's probably somewhere in here. So as you can see, for all of that, for everything I've just said, there is some tension here. But there's a lot of energy that gets along here too. So keep that in mind. And when astrologers start looking at a chart, and there's both red and blue, right here, for the easier aspects and the more tense aspects, and they're saying it's the end of the world. It's like, I'm not getting into the world. I'm really not. So snarky, sassy pants. I'm not lost. I love you doing this. Okay, good. Yeah, a Mars exactly snarky. It's Mars Saturn conjunction, but it's also, I mean, it could be an important day because I mean, 22 degrees of Jupiter, 23 degrees of Neptune. That's they're basically conjunct. They're basically in the same place. Plus, our emotions somewhere near the North Node, so something perhaps faded, but something emotional. It's being emotional about something that's faded, because the North Node can have some faded aspects. But and then you're looking at, you start comparing it to, okay, well, who's this going to affect? Well, then you've got a world full of astrology charts. So you go, all right, well, if it's America, we can ignore this ascendant because we don't know what time. This changes all day long, and we don't know what time we're talking about. But the sun is in Cancer, so it's here. And there's nothing going on here in Cancer. 30, 60. So it's going to be in a good aspect, 60 degrees of, basically every time you jump one of these, you just go up 30 degrees. So it's from here where the US sun is at, 30 degrees, 60 degrees away is going to be your it's going to be Uranus, but that's not a negative aspect. 90. So the sun will be in V squared. So we do this. This is where the sun is. So that'll be squared to where the US sun is roughly. But it does that twice a year. It does that in beginning of April. It does that in, oh gosh, October. Yeah, it does the same thing in October. Does it every year. So that's why people usually look at the outer planets. And then, but this is trine. This would be 120 degrees. So if that's where, if ballpark where the sun is in the US chart, 30, 60, 90, 120-ish. So you just kind of go, well, there's some negative things to the US chart, some positive things, some negative things. We just went through our Pluto return, but Pluto's moving on. So that's the other thing. It's okay, there's going to be this momentous day with all of this stuff happening, where you've got this Mars-Saturn conjunction, okay, in Aquarius. You've got this Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces, okay. You can have the moon by the North Node, okay, and Chiron near the sun. But who is it going to affect? Depends what their chart is. Depends what the country's chart is. Depends what the person's chart is. So there's both good and bad here. So is it like with all these outer planets being usually Saturn, but certainly Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, that kind of thing. They move so slowly that it's more momentous when they actually form an aspect with something else. But especially with each other. But this is what astrologers are doing. They are taking all of these key ideas and looking at them and saying, okay, what's going to happen? a lot of it comes from experience, where you've looked at what was happened the last time there was a Jupiter conjunct Neptune. So you go back in time and you look that up. What happened? What kinds of things were happening then? Okay, what happened the last time that Mars was conjunct Saturn? Well, Mars is one of the inner planets, so relative to the outer planet, it's zipping around. So it conjuncts, Saturn relatively soon. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys, there are people like Andre, Astrology Alert, who will be able to say more specifically. But I just wanted you guys to also be aware that it is not so easy to just look at a chart and say what's going to happen. You get energy. Is it going to be tense energy, a lot of tense energy? Is it going to be a lot of gentle energy on that day? Are things in the sky, are they getting along? Are they not? If there's a lot of negativity just in the sky between the different planets, the luminaries and the planets, we're all probably going to feel it, but we're all going to feel it in different ways. And then you have to know the charts of individual countries to see, oh, I see, this is falling on the moon of the UK, and this is falling on the, what about, look at the Ukraine chart. How does it affect that? How does it affect the US chart? Where does it fit? So I just wanted to walk you through that. I know this may not answer all your questions, but what I'm trying to tell you is that this is not, you with astrology, you get a sense of timing, which you don't really get with tarot. But with tarot, you might even get more detail on certain issues, because this is just going to give you these keywords. So how are they going to fit together? And then you look at individual charts. So the next time that somebody's like, it's World War III. No. Is it going to be a missile attack? Well, missiles, what rules missiles? Missile would be Mars, Marshall, taking action, punching through. So that would be Mars. But Mars is in the same place as Saturn, which holds things in, where it holds you back. It's time, it's constriction. Okay. Now, if we had Mars conjunct Uranus being the rebel, the chaos, the what bolts out of the blue, that could be a missile attack in theory, because you'd have the action, the hard action, with the rebellious sorry, Alfie's crying. Pumpkin, come in. You're fine. Come on. Got lots of energy, but you're okay. There he is. There's a good boy. All right. So, yes. Okay, Lola Bell's saying that the Sun Chiron squares the U.S. Sun and opposes Putin's Sun. Well, an opposition will give you kind of a seesaw quality. One side, it raises the other one up, but then it also lowers it down when it. Best way I can describe it is with my ex-husband, whose sun was directly across from mine. It's great because it lifts up your sense of self, your sun, but the other one feels a little bit like they're put down a little bit as the other one rises. But then you help the other person, and so it goes back and forth. And if you're okay with that, You will get lifted up more often. You just have to understand what's going on. So you get a lifting, but this has to go down a little, and that's the back and forth of oppositions. The 90 degrees, the square, is the grinding energy. It's the grit making that you make the pearl because it's irritating. So where the sun will be, where the Chiron will be irritating the U.S.'s sense of self, and it will be doing a kind of seesaw motion to Putin's sense of self. Neither are particularly great. So Sherlock Holmes is saying Mars Saturn is in Aquarius, so it may be a tension that we ruminate over and worry about. Well, ruminate over and worry about. Well, worry is often more of a Mercury communication, thinking, thought kind of stuff. With maybe worry is most often like a Neptune, a nebulous. You're worried about something that isn't real yet, something that could happen, something that is a possibility. So it's not, it hasn't taken form, but you're worried about it. So that would be if Mercury was with Neptune, but they're not. So yeah. I mean, okay, Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Okay, so Jupiter, it says it's expansive, optimistic, can be over-optimistic, hot air. In the same place as Neptune. Neptune could be ocean, water, spirituality, art, dissolving. So he doesn't have form. So Jupiter is going to expand whatever the Neptune is. Possibly travel, because it rules Sagittarius. We don't know what house it's in. But that looks like it's going to be in a good aspect to the U.S. sun. So that's it. All right. I'll stop there. I'm driving some people crazy, and I don't mean to. And I hope it hasn't been too bad or too painful. Snarky sassy pants. I tried twice. I feel like a challenged soul here. I'm sorry. I like the orange. I don't understand. Terry Solalas, thank you. Okay, so that's going to do it for me for today, but I'll be back tomorrow. And hopefully I won't be talking about astrology. Karen's eyes glazed over. Yeah. Yep. All right. So I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to go calm the cat down. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, in a couple hours, I'll be over on Book Art Media for the creative sprints in the afternoon. So hang in there. And just remember, you are not alone. And we're in this together. And there are good days ahead. All right. Take care. At the other page, do we have a way to print it? I'm going to put it on my blog, which hopefully I'm starting in the next couple of weeks. So you'll be able to print it out from there. So soon. All right. Little kitty. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.